Wow. I remember it like the back of my hand. 1996. Chicago Bulls was supposed to be their last run with Michael Jordan, but they fade out, going to just being another team, and they were going to break up. And next thing you know, they get Dennis Rodman, and the team starts to turn around. But early on, Dennis was suspended, didn't get to really play against the Seattle game that they played when they played, I think, in November. And they put Gary Payton, switching him on Michael Jordan. And Gary Payton can play defense on tall guys because they got to put the ball down. And when you put the ball down, the glove is all over you. Gary's the type that he hounds you, he irritates you. He's like a little bug, and he's all over you. And he played one of the best defensive games on Michael Jordan I've seen in the second half. Third and fourth quarter, just period. The whole team was raiding the passing lanes, and the Chicago Bulls looked like an old leg team that they could not run with the Seattle Supersonics. Early on they could, but over time they would break down. There was one X factor in that series because I don't think Dennis played that game in Seattle. But 100%, I believe and know that Gary Payton in that game irritated the mess out of Michael Jordan, and he won the game. Jordan had a chance to go tie it. He got the ball doing his usual Michael Jordan. Gary Payton was on him, and he stripped Michael. Then he blocked Michael's shot when Michael had a chance to try to score again to seal that game. Michael was waiting for his chance to get back at Gary Payton. Michael was very good at keeping things in his head as tasks so that when he comes around the second time, he's more than prepared to deal with it. He saw what he needed to do and he implemented it. He knew if we take Gary Payton out of the game, they're done. Putting Gary Payton on Michael Jordan, because of that game, George Karl was very confident when putting Gary on Michael Jordan, which was not a good idea. Michael is the type to figure it out. And when you let Michael Jordan figure you out, you're in trouble. And here's the problem. They were prepared for George Karl putting Gary Payton on Michael Jordan. Now they were going to pay for that. Michael knew Gary's whole game is confidence. And he talks trash. So the moment he starts talking trash to Gary Payton, it was like a shock to the system. How dare you talk to me like this? Like I'm just a player. Michael was so smart. Michael talks trash probably more than Gary, but it just shocked Gary because nobody would talk to Gary. And when they played, Michael wouldn't talk to Gary like that. So when he told him, like, yeah, now you gonna welcome to the, now you on the big stage. He's like, what? Yeah, let's see if you can handle the big stage. Gary was like, oh wow, the challenge was on. Gary kept running off at the mouth. Come on, Smurf. You gonna be guarding me, Smurf? Okay. Now you here's another one. I thought you was the glove. Must be a hole in that glove. Man, Michael was giving him the Smith. Gary's like, oh, so you can guard me? Gary Payton was caught in a one-on-one with Michael Jordan. He was trying to go cross Mike. He got this one layup off the glass. He looking at Mike like what? Meanwhile, they're losing. They're losing. Mainly because of Dennis Rodman on the boards with Frank Burkowski. Frank is one of the toughest, dirtiest players in the game, but Frank was good at what he did. Frank will lay you out. These young players today don't know what in the world going on. You get a Frank Burkowski pick, you might be out 2 games. So that was exciting to watch more than anything because they didn't figure it out till they were down 2 games. When they went home, they were able to run, and the Bulls was basically resting and was a little fatigued from the actual flight over there to Seattle from Chicago. That they didn't bring enough energy. They knew they just needed to get 1 game. They got the 1 game and came home because Dennis Rodman again was incredible on defense and rebounds. And they just closed them out. There was nothing they could do. The series was turned around and Gary was forcing it, and Seattle, they made a lot of mistakes. Like they normally do it early on. They give you a lot of mistakes. All you got to do is cut down on your mistakes, and the game will be a lot more easier on yourself. And that's what started to happen for the Bulls. But the Gary Payton, Michael Jordan saga, it was done. Michael did what he had to do. And it was a tough emotional game for him, but Michael did it by being cerebral and took Gary Payton out of his game for an entire series. And it worked because without Gary, team fell apart. And it basically single-handedly destroyed the Seattle Supersonics because they ended up becoming the OKC Thunder. Sean Kemp ended up going to Cleveland, becoming a Cleveland Cavalier, where he was the Rain Man. Then he went to the just this guy who just gave up. Everybody who got traded to that Cleveland, they eventually just gave up. So during that time, this before the Bron era, of course, we're getting traded there. It's like being dumped. It was like a dump site. Well, now it's turning right back into that dump site. But yeah, that's what it was. But I miss those days because you actually see real basketball being played. It's like that's when you watch the big 3, you're actually seeing people play. Like Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. Drop. Dropping them off. But don't forget to subscribe. It's your boy Carcino. Hit the notification button. I'm out.